Hello, I'm Nadia Benhamla. I run a company, Bioshop, located in different places in France. I would like to set up my firm in Switzerland because this is very competitive. Besides, it presents a lot of advantages. As a French foreigner, I belong to the European Union, so I'm allowed to live and work in Switzerland. Therefore, I can create my firm in this country on the condition to prove my firm's existence. I can do that by signing in professional register, for instance. In order to increase its GDP, Switzerland promotes investments and besides it set up different economic advantages. We are going to analyze the several advantages of my firm setting up through people, profit, business, products, premises, safe and security. French and I would like to practice a professional activity in Switzerland. I would be submitted to the Swiss employment law, which is more flexible and more liberal than the French employment law. In Switzerland, employment law is governed by the Obligations Code and by the collective conventions of work. People who want to start a business in Switzerland must file a request. Employers must comply with labor law. In Switzerland, labor law is liberal and less strict than in France. I'm going to study some rules about it. By Swiss labor law, the employer must inform by writing his workers in permanent contracts and fixed-term contracts of more than 1 month about beginning of the contract, name of each part, position of the worker in the company, wage, and daily working time. Concerning the trial period, it's 1 month during which each part can break the contract, but they need to respect a 7 days delay. In France, trial period can last 2, 3 or 4 months depending on the category of work. In Switzerland, workers can have 4 months of annual leave. A 5th week is added for workers under 20 years old. Advantages and dispositions can be granted in the contract. If one part wants to change the terms of the contract, the other needs to agree, as in France. Breach of contract in permanent contract at the end of trial period, each part can put an end to the contract in respect of the delay. Therefore, we have an employment law and a social strife very favorable. Employees and employers are on good terms, which provides a social and economical stability in the country. For instance, in Switzerland in 2004, there were 8 strike movements, whereas in France there were 609. The SMIC in Switzerland is 3,260 euro, whereas in France it's 1,466 euro. Legal work time 50 hours maximum. In Switzerland, there is an immigration rise from OECD countries, which permits to offset the population's drop. This will allow me to offer them fiscally, as compared with the other countries, Switzerland offers a better tax for the employees. I noticed that the Swiss corporate tax rate is 17.92%, whereas in France, tax rate is 20%. In Switzerland, firms benefit by a low taxation contrary to the other countries. I choose to set up in Geneva because it's a free zone. Free zones are geographic zones of a country which present tax advantages in order to attract investments and the development of economic activities. Firms which set up in those zones benefit from a better fiscal and statutory environment than in the rest of the country. There is a particularity in Switzerland. There is a federal structure in the country. Indeed, there are different levels of taxes, nationally, locally, and in the urban district. The taxation rate is fixed in function of different criteria, which is advantageous for me because we can negotiate. My firm will be taxed at the place where it is, that is to say in Geneva. Compared to the other countries, the income tax are lower. For example, the actual tax are the following. Nationally, the tax rate on the benefit is of 8.5%. What pushed me into choosing Switzerland is the fact that the purchasing power and prices on the Helvetic market are more important. My food sale from a biological agriculture and my biologic products seduced the French population. That's why this year my firm has presented an excellent purchasing power, which will allow me to broaden my firm to. Concerning a product, I will work on the ecological specifications of products through the use of RACS materials, ecological material, recyclable products, biodegradable products, or fair trade products. The price I offer are not very high because my products are made from recyclable material. I will encourage the population to recycle their products, to reuse them. Let's take the example of the recycled glass bottle. That's how the business will operate. The company will sell products of all kinds. For instance, dishwasher, soap, food, perfume, drinks, and on and on. My firm's functioning is original. This will attract people. We are talking about green business. The organic marketing is regulated. We must comply with the standards, including those on environmental management. We must above all respect the ecological marketing standards because they are more specific and allow users of the products concerned to check compliance issues by reliable and to valid information. In France, there is the Grenelle law together with the National Association of Food Industry. Their main objective is to encourage companies to engage in environmental initiatives. As a consequence, they encourage companies to display their objectives. They promote recycling through the sale of products without packaging. Finally, they want to facilitate consumers' information by creating labels on packages, for example, or environmental displays to educate consumers and citizens. Consumers keep clamoring for biological products. The production for biological agriculture has increased these years. For instance, in the European Union, the agricultural area can reach 20%, and the minimum area is 3%. Swiss employers have to take a professional insurance against accidents for each employee. If the employee works less than 8 hours a week, the employer has to sign him a non-professional insurance against accidents. According to the law, only the following reasons can lead to an absence which won't consume your day off: accident, pregnancy or maternity, accomplishment of a legal obligation, military services, for example, or exercise of a public function. The law forces a minimum of 4 weeks of holiday, 5 weeks for those who are under 20 years old. Finally, the treatment equality principle between men and women is registered in the Swiss constitution, and the employer shouldn't make any difference between both sexes. There shouldn't either be any differences of treatment between a Swiss employee and a border employee. My biological food sale allows clients to have a healthier consumption of food. My firm presents advantages for the environment and for my clients' health. Pollution has harmful effects for health, and my firm uses biological ways of production in order to decrease pollution. I'm going to put overseeing cameras in case of any steals, and also security agents. Thank you for listening. I hope this has convinced you. Goodbye.